Zoom, and we are now
Wonderful.
live on YouTube. Another minute, we will go live on the program. I think till then, we'll continue with our just hello and guftagu and listen to all the comments. So Amar is also saying hello to you. He's calling you a handsome man, which I agree with.
I do not want to look at the chat messages because I'll keep blushing. No reason whatsoever.
Okay, everyone. One more minute to go before we go live.
So Atul, how
Yeah,
are
you
you
were
doing?
talking. Yeah, Shoolini is doing great. Every day, 11:30, we do the Yogananda Guru series. Our objective is to bring the best, the brightest, and the most inspirational speakers to our students, faculty, and Shoolini friends. Topics
One.
as varied as yours, to films, to sports, to science, to
Mhm.
liberal arts. And again, the whole idea is to inspire people around to make sure that they learn something beyond what they would have done in a normal situation. So I think with this, it's 11:30. Good morning, friends. Welcome once again to the Yogananda Guru series of webinars powered by Shoolini University. Like every day, today we bring you another exceptional speaker, Bobby D'Souza. Bobby is a dear friend, visiting faculty and friend of Shoolini, but more importantly, a great motivational speaker, a corporate trainer, and a keynote speaker. He's also written a book, which I'm told is quite a bestseller, Fallen to Rise. A very humble man, Bobby. I think risen a bit from the ashes, and he's going to talk about his story during this presentation today. So, Bobby is going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is going to be how do we have and continue with a strong mind in the time of crisis?
Mm.
Typically, all of us in times of crisis start crumbling. We start thinking about ourselves rather thinking about society. We start breaking the rules. We start rushing to grocery stores when we are told that, let's say, the lockdown is going to start. So,
Mhm.
Bobby is going to talk about his experiences on this. You might want to touch a bit about, Bobby, what's happening in Mumbai. We heard about migrant laborers pushing towards the Bandra railway station.
That's
So
right.
I think with this, who better could take this topic than Bobby D'Souza, a big friend of Shoolini. And once again, all of you, welcome to the Yogananda Guru series of Shoolini University. Over to you, Bobby D'Souza. As a format, we're going to use 30 to 35 minutes of Bobby speaking, and we will pick up Q&As from all of you, and we'll try to do justice to all the questions that come by. Over to you, Bobby. And thank you
All
very much,
right.
audience.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Bobby D'Souza, and such a privilege to once again come on an online platform and bring value to everybody at Shoolini who are watching right now and who are going to see the broadcast a little later. Uh, I am going to share a bit about my story in some time from now, but my goal right now is to bring value, genuine value to each one of you when people are confined in the quarantine to their homes. How do we ensure that we build a mind that is extremely strong and powerful? And I'm going to help you with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and we will hopefully move on from there. And give me 1 second. I'm going to share my screen right now. If you're able to see my screen, just drop in a message so that I know and
We,
you know
We
that you are
can,
able.
Bob. It's working. It's working fine.
It's
Please go
working
ahead.
fine. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay. I'm just going to put this panel a little below so that we can focus on the presentation. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, here it is. So, guys, the topic is the mind of the strong. Okay. Now, my question to you right now is, and my recommendation that I do in all my learning programs, in all my keynote speeches is, if you're getting something of value, grab a notepad and a pen and make notes. There is nothing right reflecting on your learning. So if you have a pen and paper handy, quickly grab something, because I am ready, I'm excited, and I'm ready to bring value to you. So pen and paper handy would be great. So the first question that I have is, right now, are you in any way feeling like what you see in the picture? Do you feel like you are going through like a whirlwind and you're moving in direction which looks chaotic, which looks chaos? You do not know what's going to happen in the future, uncertainties around. It does not matter whether you're a student, whether you're a parent, whether you are a CEO of an organization or an employee or a faculty. Are you feeling some sort of a whirlwind going around you? Some of us could have your own thoughts. You might be feeling a sense of pressure. And because I have been coaching a lot of people of lately, I've actually coached more than 16 people in the last 3 weeks. And in the conversation, I've realized that people are feeling a sense of, that picture that you see over there. They're feeling a sense of, why me? Why is it even happening with me? Why are things going on like this? Why coronavirus? A lot of people are blaming another country. A group of people are, blaming a society or a group of people. There's a lot of blame game happening, and people have their own rules of saying that this is how things are supposed to happen. But the question is, we cannot change the world. But what we can do is we can start with inspiring ourselves, making our mind strong so that we, our family, the people around us, our friends around us, the society around us, we can do something good. And that's the goal. So my first question, and I want you to put it in the comment section below, what are you going through in your mind? Be very unfiltered about it. I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling nervous. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm not very sure. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what my future is. I don't know what my career is. How long is this, lockdown going to be there? What are the thoughts? Just comment below. So this is my thought over here. A lot of people say, Bob, you could have taken any other topic. Why is this such a big need of the hour? If you're able to see very clearly on the right hand side of this picture, over here, you see a picture of Bandra, Mumbai. And this Sunday, suddenly, hundreds and thousands of people gathered together in Bandra terminus to go back to their village. Now, everybody knew that everything is stalled, everything is stopped, and it was clearly informed that people are not supposed to move out. But people still didn't realize, and people just moved out. And, there was lathi charge and police hitting them, and there was chaos, people crying, people worried, specifically migrant laborers. A lot of people would say, oh, they're illiterate, they don't understand. They have no idea. Are they not mature? Come on, man, give me a break. This is what a lot of people would say. So are you then saying that it's basically about education, only about illiteracy? Is that all? So let me show you another picture. I think when you see this picture, you see something. In the United States of America, which is among the most developed countries in the world, panic buying has happened, and it's happened in India as well. So do you think these people who you see in the picture are illiterate? Not actually. All of them are educated. All of them are knowledgeable. All of them are people who can think really well. But the question is, why is there panic buying? My friends, panic buying is happening because of the word panic. Whenever any pandemic gets hit, whenever there is a turmoil, when there is a storm, where there is a recession, slowdown, there is panic buying. Interestingly, I was doing some research and I found out that panic buying didn't just happen during coronavirus outbreak. Panic buying has happened during hurricanes. It has happened during tsunami. It happened through earthquake. It happened in India and everywhere. Whenever there is a catastrophe or a natural disaster that happens, people tend to buy out of panic. So the question is, why? Why do people hoard and keep so much? So much of hoarding is kept. Hoarding, the meaning of hoarding in simplicity basically means keeping more than usual for yourself, whether it's ration, whether it's food, whether it's anything, grocery, because you are worried that you might have none, even though the government clearly mentioned that's not how it's going to be. Where does it come from? It all starts from one thing, which is mindset. It's not just from knowledge, but it's from mindset. So here is the reason. I've just done a little research. So here is an example, and I remember a long time back, I gave this example in Shoolini University. I have a glass in front of me, you know. Now there's some water in it. When I shake the glass, the water will drip out. Okay. It's not the glass's mistake, but what's in the glass. Isn't that true? What's in the glass, if you shake it, it will evidently come out. And my friend, when you and I do not learn how to handle our mindset, when everything is fine, when things are relaxed, when things are very calm, during storms, during recession, during slowdown, during pandemic, it will show up. What is within you comes out during times when you are shaken. So my question is, when you're shaken, what is coming out? Is panic coming out? Is fear coming out? Is hoarding coming out? Is chaos coming out? Is there conflicts and fights within family? What's coming out? Or is there peace? Is there calmness coming out? And that is my question to you. There are three specific reasons, that I was researching and I found out. And here I want to bring the example. As per USA Today, they say three reasons why people panic during and do hoarding and buying of groceries. Is number one is called guilt avoidance. Guilt avoidance simply means that people feel that what if we do not have that amount of things or food or grocery? What if our family goes hungry? What if we don't have enough, and how will I show it to my family? What face can I show to my family? So there is guilt avoidance. That's number one. Number two is called social clues. Now, what is social clues? Social clues simply means that because I see other people running and buying and panicking, I fall under peer pressure and I run and I start behaving just like the herd mentality. You must have heard about mob mentality. That's the same thing over here. It's called herd mentality. Social clues is basically people look at other people behaving in an irrational manner and everybody behaves in that manner. And number three is anxiety. And anxiety basically is the whole element of fear, you know. And the third one is very interesting. It basically means that because I have no clue that I can control the pandemic, yani, I cannot control coronavirus. I cannot control what's going to happen to my career, to my future, to the world around us. So what I will do is I will focus on what I can control. And what I can control buying because I have some money, you know. But people can actually reserve money because that's the need of the hour. We don't know when markets are going to open. So we need to reserve money. We got to preserve money. We got to save. But people are just going frenzy and buying. Why? Because they feel that at least there is something that I can control, my friend. So this is one of the biggest reasons why people are behaving in this manner. So, so now a quick question. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to just come over here and share with you. One of the first things which creates panic and fear, and I've been seeing this all across the world, talking with so many people. The reason why there is so much of panic and there is so much of fear is basically because people are checking out things that they should not. I know of people who are close to me who are spending 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour looking at news. What you're looking up on your mobile, what you're looking up on your gadget, what you're looking up is an important question. Are you focusing on, oh my God, how's coronavirus getting impacted? In fact, even a business site like LinkedIn, if you see on the right hand side, you will see all the news, and a lot of news, unfortunately, are negative. So if you're watching a lot of negative news, my friend, it is very natural for you to be scared. My thought over here is, rather than focusing on news that can be negative, my suggestion would be, what if, what if what if you could check out this? What if you could check out this, my friend? What you see in the picture over here, my friend, is you are seeing, what if on your mobile, on your gadget, you are seeing your dreams getting achieved? By asking questions, How can I financially stay fit? How can I preserve my money? How can I ensure that I build my skill? How do I think I can build my career? How do I think I can keep myself calm? How do I think I could invest my time in developing high income skill? If you are able to focus your attention on things that can empower you on your mobile, you'll be surprised to know that you will not operate out of panic. You will operate out of faith and belief and strength, knowing that even this will pass, and that I, even in this difficult time, can make something productive of my life, productive of my career. I can make a great harmony and peace in my family, my friend. The question is, what are you checking out? In the comment section below, can you write down what are you checking out? In a day, how much of time do you spend on watching the news? Good question. Comment below. Be honest to yourself. That's the best way to learn. My question is, what if you could, a lot of people want to do panic buying, right? Panic hoarding. Why can't you do panic hoarding of investing in reading a good book? What if you take so much of time every day, take 3 hours, like you're taking 1 hour to read the news? Why can't you take 1 hour just to read content that can bring value to you? What about reading a book? What about investing in a podcast, in a video, in learning an art, in learning a skill? What about if you do that, my friend? What if you panic and learn? You could even use a negative energy of nervousness and ask myself, how can I sustain myself? How can I build my career? How can I keep myself strong? How can I? If I invest myself in hoarding good things, then the result is going to be great. Think about it, my friend. Now, the question is, some people would say, Bob, it's easy for you to say you're a motivational speaker. It's easy for you to say you're a motivational speaker, you know things, and life is easy for you. Life, things are very easy for you. So what I want to do is, without further ado, I'm going to bring in a little of my story. A lot of students have actually heard my story, but I still want to share it because I know it brings a value to a lot of people. My friend, this is what I have to say. The strongest mind are built through struggles. The strongest mind are built through pain. The strongest mind are built through stories of adversity and challenges and pain. Guys, when I was 2.5 years old, my father left me and went away. He didn't die. He left us. Even today, whether my father is alive or dead, we do not have an idea. And I say this in all my seminars. A lot of people wouldn't even talk about their father. A lot of people wouldn't even talk about their dads. But my dad's missing, literally missing, for the last so many years. My father left my mom and dad in Assam, which is my mom's native place. He left me, my two sisters, and my mom, and told them that I'm coming back. And he never returned. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, he's never come back. My mom had just lived in Mumbai for some time, and she had to completely set up her own life from ground zero in a city where you cannot really trust a lot of people, specifically if you're a single mother. My mom took care of us. And I was 2 years old, my other sister was 4 years old, the other was 5 or 6. That was the state. My mom used to lock us in the house and work 2 jobs a day and struggle and work very hard to take care of us. My mom says, there are times when she used to travel in the local train and fall down, literally fall down because she used to, be unconscious because of blood pressure and because of what pressure she'd gone through, my friend. But I think situations like that made her strong, made her powerful as a person. Sometimes people used to pick her up and bring her home and ask her, hey, tumhari mummy hai kya? Is she your mother? And we were small children and we didn't know that whether she was alive or dead because she was unconscious. And, we used to rub her hands. And after 30 minutes, 20 minutes, suddenly we would see her awake and we say, oh, thank God she's alive. My friend, the biggest, strongest mind have gone to the biggest pain in life. The most difficult journey always leads to some of the most beautiful path, my friend. My mom never gave up on us. She never gave up on us. She worked 2 times a day. She sacrificed and cried herself to sleep. She never got married again. I saw her as a role model. I saw her as a role model. And as a result of that, I didn't give up. At the age of 15, the first job I did, I used to be a laborer on the road. I used to pick up cement. I used to pick up tar. I used to pick up, ghamela. I used to build houses for people. Now, when I wear a blazer like this, somebody asked me, Bob, can you tell me this story that you always talk about? That you were a laborer on the road. Do you just make it up, or is that for real? And I say it's 100% real. At the age of 15, I was a laborer. I used to pick up cement and I used to make houses for people. At the age of 16 and a half, 17, I started selling watches door to door, house to house. I still remember people used to catch me by the collar and throw me out of the house when I used to go in the slums of Mumbai, Goregaon. And I used to stand over there and people used to throw me out and say, hey, get out. And when you're 17 years old, 16 years old, and when somebody literally picks you by the collar and manhandles you and throws you out, how do you feel? It felt terrible. It felt painful. I felt rejected. And I still remember I used to stand on that Malad East Highway, Goregaon, and I used to stand on that highway on the crossroad of my life, not knowing where to fetch even 1 rupee to travel back home in a bus. I didn't have money to do that. So I used to stand there crying. And there's rain falling from heaven. And there's rain falling from my eyes because that day I have no money to go back home and nothing to eat at home. And my family is waiting for me. And my mom had already got so unwell. And she was on the bed most times. During that time, I made a decision and I said, whatever my past has happened, that's my biography. I choose not to make my biography, my past, become my future and my present. And I decided to write my autobiography by making, I'm going to raise my voice, Pradeep just mentioned, and I made a decision to ensure that my past will never determine my future. And this is my question to each one of you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you've gone to the past. It is time for you to make choices. The strongest minded people are people who do not live on feelings, but are people who make choices consistently. And I want to ask you a question. Are you making some proactive choices today to not give up, to not panic, to not hoard, to not be scared? But are you making choices to be powerful as a person, to be a champion inside you? Remember, you could go through a crisis, but letting the crisis go inside you, that's the problem. Did you hear that? You could go through a crisis, but letting the crisis go inside you, that, my friend, is the biggest problem. To cut the whole long story short, if you see in the picture, the first picture that you see is Shoolini University, and I was doing a seminar 6-7 years back over there. Okay. Today, I've had the privilege of inspiring thousands of people, and my story is written in a book. Today, I'm a keynote speaker, I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm inspiring thousands of people, to CEOs, to leaders, to deans of colleges, to corporates, who are being inspired by my story, through my story. And you can grab a copy of this, Fallen to Rise, from Kindle. You can grab a copy of this. The question is, what changed? What changed in me that brought such a big difference? My friend, when I build my mindset consistently during time when things are peaceful, I consistently build my mind. And as a result, I can be more peaceful. I will panic, but I will come out of the panic and I will be strong. Not because I'm actually strong, but because I'm investing myself and building my mind muscle. So before I come to a closure, I'm going to quickly tell you how can you build your mindset. So grab a pen, here it is. Number 1, as I mentioned earlier, guard yourself from toxic news. My suggestion is watch the news only 3 minutes a day, just to know what's worse, what's good, what's the update, what's progressing. That's it. Don't keep watching the news too long because it will scare you. Guard yourself from toxic news. Interestingly, the quote that you see in the picture, Make sure everyone is rowing and not drilling holes when you're not looking. In your ship, who are there with you on board? Your family? In your circle, who are the people? Your family, your friends, your neighbors, your brother, your sister? What are they talking? Are they drilling holes? Are they drilling holes of fear? Are they giving you panic stories? Are they giving you stories which are painful, which are, scary? If they're drilling holes, tell them either आप चप्पू चलाओ और नाव को आगे बढ़ाओ यानी प्रोग्रेस करो. Either you can sail the boat forward or you can get off the boat. You got to tell people to stop drilling holes, otherwise you and your mind will lose. And when your mind will lose and will get scared, as a result, you will panic. And if you panic, your family will panic. As a result, if your family panicking, the panic will spread to the families, to the society, to the world around. Did you hear that? What happened in Bandra is because one self-proclaimed leader told everybody, let's run and let's go to Bandra. And people just heard, did not realize, did not make their mind strong. And as a result, there was panic. So ensure, what discussions are you having? Do not have toxic, negative discussion. Have positive discussions. Talk about possibilities. Talk about solutions. Talk about finding solutions. What are you commenting on Facebook? What are you putting on status? Very important. Deepak Chopra says, in the midst of movement, in midst of chaos, let there be calmness inside of you. Ye bheed mein, all the chaos that is happening, ensure that you are relaxed. And for this, my friend, in the first thing in the morning, spend time reading a book, investing in journalizing, writing on in a diary, asking yourself what's really going on. Invest in feeding your mind with good content every day. Number two, my friend, get perspective. Get perspective. And in order to get a naya nazariya, it is important for you to pause, my friend. The best gift that you can give yourself is every day, pause for some time and ask yourself, what's really going on here? And I know I'm going to shoot my time, but I'm going to quickly run. I have this little story. This lady that you see in the picture is Melissa Arnott. She's climbed the Everest 5 times and she was 31 years old. In 2015, when she went to Nepal to try and climb the Everest, for the 6th time, actually, what really happened was suddenly there was an earthquake. And there was a lot of devastation that happened. When she saw the situation, she was really, really moved. And she asked herself one big question. Why am I climbing the Everest 5 times? Is it to feed my own ego? Or am I doing this to get better as myself? And if I have to get better at myself, why not contribute? She started a fund called Juniper Fund. Why did she do it? Just before the earthquake, she started this fund because one of her very close friend, one Sherpa, who was a great friend, died while they were trying to climb the Everest. And while they were trying to climb the Everest, she saw that the family was struggling and they were surviving. And what she did is she started a fund and she started taking care of one Sherpa family where the death happened. And then she started supporting 5 families. And now she supports 35 families to take care of their food, helping them. And there are restaurants open because of the Juniper Fund so that Sherpas can be taken care of. The question is, Melissa Arnott was living a life wherein she was talking about achieving her own goals. Suddenly what happened? I think through the shock, through the earthquake, she witnessed something which was so painful that suddenly she realized that, she got to do something better and something bigger, my friend. She got to do something better. She got to do something bigger. And as a result of that, she started this fund. But a lot of people would ask, Bob, but what happened to her goal? In fact, she said, Bob, should I just pack up and walk back home when the earthquake happened? She said, no. What I want to do is we want to support the families. Every dollar helps them to survive. Interestingly, exactly a year after the earthquake, she supported the 35 families and she finished her 6th attempt to climb the Everest. She did not let go of her goal, but she changed the purpose of her goal, my friend. And what I want to tell you is, sometimes when we go through shock, when we go through this challenges in life, sometimes, when we pause and we reflect and we get a new perspective, ek naya nazariya, we ask ourselves, why am I even doing what I'm doing? What is the use? Am I just doing it to feed my ego, or am I doing it for something bigger, something which is bigger than me? And I want to ask you, Mike, and I'm going to ask you a question. Whatever you're trying to do in your career, are you doing it just for yourself, or are you doing it to bring value to the world around you? Is my question to you. Point number three is build courage daily. Consistently build courage in yourself. During COVID-19, don't just focus on the news. Focus on yourself, asking yourself, how can I build myself consistently, courageously? And for that, my friend, take steps of courage every day in some way or the other. And train yourself, train your brain to recognize emotion, impulses, why you're feeling non-satisfied, and come to such a point that you become so damn confident that you will not let your brain control you, but you will control your brain. Remember, during the calm times, invest in yourself. Number 4, finally, adapt and innovate. Do you remember the second picture? The whirlwind going around? Do you remember the whirlwind going around? Did you suddenly see that, when the whirlwind was going around and you're thinking, oh my God, what the hell is happening with me? Why this happened? Sometime when the worst is happening, my friend, the creator, the universe is helping you shape up for something bigger, something better, and something higher. And that's the quote from Fallen to Rise. During catastrophe, during this time, adapt yourself, embrace the change, accept the change, and create something beautiful. Don't gossip about it, but one day let it be news that people talk about. One day you can share this news as a gossip saying that, oh, what struggles we went through. Or you could say, during the biggest struggle of my life, during coronavirus, I created a legacy. I created a masterpiece. I was able to bring value to so many people. And I'm trying to do my bit to bring value. Shoolini University is trying to do their bit through this initiative. Remember, the minds of the strong is built in storms, in difficulties, in challenges, in problems. And this is a time, my friend, for you to branch out and create great results. Remember, finally, before I invite Atul back, a captain of the ship, when he sees a storm, the storm does not drown the ship. The ship is drowned when the storm enters the brain, in the mind of the captain, when he gets scared. That's the time the ship starts losing control. Remember, pilots of a ship, pilots of a boat, pilot of the captains of a ship, the captain of a plane train themselves well before the storm so that they can handle the storm, not during the storm only. All right, Atul, over to you.
Thank you, Bobby. This was absolutely fascinating. You explained it in such simple terms. I think keeping away from toxic news and taking risks is things which I've suddenly sort of taken care of. It's sort of hit my head, and I think we're going to implement that definitely at Shoolini, and definitely requesting everyone in the audience to take care of the three thoughts that Bobby put together. But my question is, you said don't look at toxic news. Now, there's a difference between hearing toxic news all the time versus being aware of your surroundings.
Control things by watching as much news as possible. But the truth is, how much ever we are qualified, how much ever we may have the knowledge, how much ever we may have a mindset, we cannot control everything. And the what do you say, the addiction to control everything is not a very powerful, is not a very helpful thing. The best suggestion that I would have is, being aware would need you to just watch 3 minutes of the news. That's it in a day. That's what I do. I watch news only for 3 minutes. That's it. And then I'm saying, okay, I've heard the news. I know the challenges. Now my question is, what do I do about it? And that's why the step number 4 is innovate and adapt. What can I do to adapt to my business? What can I do to adapt and change myself? I'm thinking of solution, but I cannot think of solution when I'm focused on the news all the time. is my thought.
So you're saying be aware, but don't spend much time. 3 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes is really what you should spend
That's
understanding
absolutely
the
right.
environment around you.
Absolutely.
So I'll get into the Q&A from our participants. Please keep on posting your Q&A, and I'll ask Bobby. You've got 10 odd minutes with us. So Bobby, Amar Rao is asking a question. He's saying that many times when there's chaos around us, we call it destiny. Is destiny just another name of chaos? Are we just finding a way out?
I think chaos is needed. I think as a human have two particular need. One is called certainty, for which we take insurance, for which we have government jobs, and for which we have jobs. People want to secure themselves. That's the human need, and that's basically a self defense mechanism. But the second need of human being is called uncertainty. And I say this in all my seminars. Some people are fascinated with Big Boss, right? A lot of people watch episodes after episodes of Big Boss. When Salman comes and shows up, and people watch it again and again. Question is, people wouldn't still watch the same episode 10 more times. The question is why? Because people want to see something new consistently. Why do people want to see something new consistently? Because the second need of a human being is called uncertainty. When there is too much of mundane, when things become very familiar, people get really, frustrated in a way. And when people get very frustrated, they want to try out something new. And that's why they want to watch something new. So the chaos that happens sometimes is the surprise element. And when we watch in a hospital, in a hospital, when you see that ECG report, and if the line just goes straight, which means you're dead. But if the line is consistently moving, that means you're alive. And I think I cannot answer it completely whether it's destiny or something, but what I can say is storms are good. Struggles are good. Uncertainties are good. If you don't fall, you cannot rise. If you don't have the storm, you can't have a great sailor. If you don't have great storms, you can't have a great pilot. You Atul, and your whole family have gone through so much, and you all have created this amazing university. And I know, without knowing the entire story of all the uncertainties and the chaos and the challenges you went through, and if you wouldn't have gone through that, you all would have not become who you are today, right? Shoolini University would have never become what it is if you didn't have stories of struggles which you possibly have not shared with a lot of people. So chaos is a blessing. Why does it come? I have no idea, but it's a blessing for sure.
That's, I think, a very positive way to put it. That's great thinking. Manav is asking a question. He says, you said build courage, and you said read a few books. And he's asking a question that says, how do you build courage on a daily basis? How do I live a fearless life? Kesri is asking the same question. How do I become courageous?
Okay. Now, if you and I want to handle fear, the biggest way is to face it. But now when you're in COVID-19, you can't face much of fear if you're just watching Netflix or you're just binge watching stuff. I'm coaching a few people, and one of the goals that I've given in one of the WhatsApp group is I told them, and these are young students, and I've told them the best way, and they said, Bob, I don't know how to, become strong and confident because I can't do public speaking. I said, okay, do one thing in the group that we have. Why don't you record a video message for 1 minute of any content that you feel that you can bring value to the group and share it? It took 3 days for people to come up with the thought, and I had to coax them. But at the end of the 3 day, that student, couple of them, actually put a video message in the group, and when they made the video, the process of handling the fear made them courageous. Until you come out of your comfort zone consistently and do things that make you scared, how can you build courage? You could read a great book, but until you take one step at a time, calculated risk, and just get out of your comfort zone a little each day, that's how you climb the Sayadri, that's how you climb Mount Abu, and that's how you climb the Everest. A little milestone each day. Ask yourself, are you taking one step out of your comfort zone to achieve your Everest, whatever your Everest is? One step at a time. And when you take steps, whatever you learn from the book, you apply it every day. One step at a time. For example, if there are students over here and they say, Bob, I want to build courage. Great. What are you scared about? I'm scared about what people think. And this is what happens a lot. You're scared about what people think. Go and share your strong opinion that you feel positively on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on status, wherever. And people will reject you. People will write opinion against you. And that is the time you will learn how to not be a yes man or a yes woman. And you will stand your words. You will listen to people, but you will say, I have an opinion. And that's how you take one step of courage.
I think, and I can associate a little bit with this one. For example, I believe that, if there's something that you're scared of and you do that, there's actually a lot of fun doing and building the courage. For example, I'm really scared of heights. And when I first did my skydive, I jumped off a plane. It was a horrendous experience, but the thrill of doing that was amazing. So I'll request all the participants to actually go out and do exactly what you're saying, which is let's get away from the fears we have and let's build the courage on things that we have a fear for. So Krishank is asking a very interesting question. You spoke about the past, you spoke about the future, but he's saying that the past should not shape your future is not very understandable to me. How do I delink my past from my future?
How, so can you, you were saying that how do I delink my past from my future?
So he's basically asking that I don't understand how I can keep my past away from my future.
Interesting. Interesting. I'm a positive guy. So I will talk from an optimism. Is when we go through challenges in life or when we go to any past, there are some bitter stories, we have positive stories, we have stories of heartbreaks. So many students at Shoolini University have got on a call with me saying that, Bob, I have a heartbreak. And so many other colleges also saying, what do I do? I had a bad past. What happens is people had a bad past experience and they carry it in the present and that impacts their future. Past are lessons that we learn, but we can't be prisoners to them, is my personal observation. Okay. So just because my father was abusive, and that's a true story, my father was abusive, and I've shared this in seminars at Shoolini and any place. My father was abusive to the letter A. He used to take up plates and glasses, and he used to hit my mom and throw it at her, and there are cuts and wounds even on her hand now. If I keep living in the past, if I keep holding on to that, it's going to torture me. I have learned to let go. And the example, I have a little cute example. I have my niece whose name is Ruhi. She's my bhanji and I've shared this many times. When she was very small, she was a toddler. One day she was really troubling and, throwing tantrums. And I was reading something after work and I was so annoyed with her that I just slapped her. And I took a book and in anger, I hit my feet down and I went out on the staircase. I sat down on the staircase outside and I was reading my book. While I'm reading my book, suddenly my conscience spoke to me and said, Bob, just tell me one thing. When you make mistake, does some people slap you? I said, no. You just did that, right? You just slapped her out of punishment, not out of correction. And that very moment, I suddenly realized I did something wrong. I rushed back to ask her apologies. And I was saying, Ruhi, I'm so sorry. But before I could say sorry, she ran to me and she gave me a big hug. And she said, I love you, in the little tiny voice. That very moment, I experienced the power of handling the past. That evening, I took my bhanja and bhanji, my nephew and niece, and I caught them by hand and I took them for a walk in the ground. And while I'm walking, I cried. Because that moment I learned from my niece, who was 2.5, 3 years old, I learned how do you handle your past. You don't hold on to it. And what she did is she forgave me and she let go. As we grow in height, as we grow in age, as we grow in intelligence, unfortunately, what we grow is also in ego. And when we learn to just let go and say, it's happened in the past, but can I let go? How is it helping me? And I always say, and I've shared essentially, it's almost like when you can't let go of past bitter experience, it's almost like you're drinking, let's say somebody's hurt you, you're drinking poison, and you're expecting somebody else to die. Not possible.
So, we have got some 2, 3 very interesting questions, and I'm going to bundle a couple of them together. I think we've got another 5 minutes left, Bobby, so I'll request you to be a little quicker in your answers. Sure. So Rupak is making a very interesting comment. He's saying, you're saying that people who go through tough times are not strong. Is this what you mean? So does it mean that we have to go through tough situations to gain strength? That's one question. Geetika asks a very interesting question. She says, how can I influence my parents not to spend too much time watching news? Also, if they watch news the entire day, it somewhere affects the mindset of all. So would you like to answer these two questions together?
I'm going to be very quick. It's a difficult thing convincing my own mom to tell her, don't, watch the news too much. I think answering the first question, and I'll marinate all of it together, is basically you don't have to always go to the storm to be strong. But if you do not build your mindset when things are calm, then the creator and the universe is smarter than us, and they will put you in the storm so that you become strong. So either you be proactive and change yourself and become stronger so you can handle it, or you'll be thrown into it. Choice is yours. That's question answer to the question number one. Second thing is when parents are not getting convinced about things, what I do sometimes is when I'm having conversation and I suddenly realize that a conversation is going towards toxicity and about fear and panic, what I do is I talk about stories and example of good things that are happening around us. Right now, when there is panic happening, but there is a group of sick people, the Punjabi group of people who are supporting people during coronavirus, right? There are families who are, giving money, and people are supporting, and actors are supporting. So many people are doing good things. So when you see a lot of toxic news going on and fear news going on, why don't you bring in your positivity during the chai break, tea break, lunch break, and share some of those stories? You can be an influencer by bringing in real example, real stories. And for that, my friend, you need to burn bright so that other people can be illuminated by that. You can't be diminished and expect other people's to be lightened up by your light. So,
I think you answered TPS Gill's question, but I'll read it out. I think it's very similar to the answer you just gave. He's saying that there's so much negativity around us. After all, one is watching it and hearing it every moment of our lives. Everyone is talking in a circle, whether it's friends, colleagues, relatives. So you can't leave the company unless you become a hermit. So how do you overcome negativity? And I think you sort of answered that by saying you start talking about positive stories, talk about stories of successes rather than stories of failures. But do you want to add anything to this? And before you close, one last question over here.
can I try and
Anonymous
quickly?
anonymous attendee is before that. Let me just ask this question. Anonymous attendee is asking this question: from where should I get the strength to forgive someone? I'm sure you would like to answer this, but my opinion to anonymous attendee is to start by writing a name to start with, rather than calling yourself an anonymous attendee. But if you could answer the two questions, Bobby, and then I would like you to summarize whatever you've said in a minute, and then we can close.
Sure. I am not a hermit. Neither is Atul. Neither are any people, who've been able to do anything. If you and I have to build a mind of the strong and you're staying with people who are sharing the news, my first question is who you are shows up in your daily routine. Who you are shows up in your daily routine. What are you doing every day? A lot of people tell me, Bob, I'm so busy. Doing what? Reading the news, watching news feeds, watching Netflix. I know people watching movies and Netflix till 3 o'clock and not just doing one day, but doing it every day, which basically means on the priority list, watching entertainment is most important. If we prioritize feeding our mind every day, when you first thing get up in the morning, and this is actually my diary. First thing in the morning, when you pick up a diary, for 30 minutes, you do not touch for 30 minutes, by the way, my Bhanji gifted this on my birthday. You pick up a diary of yours and you are, in fact, if you see, I don't know whether you can see this, the first line of my diary is gratitude. I start by asking myself, what are 10 things that are good around me? What am I thankful for today? Because there are 20 things that are not good, but are there 10 things that are good with me? If I take a diary and I write down the 10 things that are good in my life, then I'll be surprised to know that my focus will be positive. Whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on the good things that are happening around you, it will work for you. So take some time, be thankful for what you have. 30 minutes when you get up, don't look at the news. Don't look at your mobile. Before you sleep, 30 minutes, don't touch your mobile. Invest in reading, invest in journalizing, invest in asking yourself, what's really happening inside? When you're able to sort out things inside yourself, the storm outside will be calmer. When the storm inside is more relaxed. That's
Okay,
one of the.
Bobby, 1 to 2 minutes of summary to what you said.
You want me to summarize at the end, whatever I said?
That's right.
That's right. Atul, firstly, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's a privilege. It was such a joy. If I summarize everything in just 30 seconds, 45 seconds, is mindset of the strong is not for a selected few. It is not for somebody who's very highly intellectual. It is a birthright of every human being. Every time a child falls, the child does not stay fallen, even as a toddler. It rises up. Who instigates the child to get up? Not just parents, the child itself, because the child somehow in its DNA knows that every time I fall, I need to rise. Every time I panic, I can rise from that. And for that, you and I need to get back to who we really are. All of us are not quitters. All of us are not people who just give up. So every day when you start a day, ensure that you're spending time with yourself before you spend time with anybody else. And that's what is the secret of a little success that I've got is I spend time with myself first. I calm myself. I feed myself every day consistently with so much of strength, so much of content that helps me that by the end of 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm so strong, not because I'm actually physically strong, but I'm building my muscle every day of my mind. And once I build my muscle and when I have the light inside me, I can share the light outside. I cannot spread positivity when I am negative inside. Invest in yourself. That's the most valuable investment you and I can make during coronavirus. And for all the students, this is what I want to say. There are some top high income skills that you can develop, even faculties and other people. You can develop high income skills. And if you want to get more details, write me an email at contact@bobbydesouza.com and I can share more about it. But you can invest in high income skills. So when COVID-19 becomes a little calmer, you can start increasing your income, your skill, your career. It's up to us.
Thank you, Bobby. I think all of us are inspired. I'm getting so many comments on my mobile, so many of them on chat. What a wonderful presentation. What a wonderful discussion.
Thank you.
We had more than 100 participants on Zoom and more than 300 on YouTube. So clearly, I think you've got lots of fans and I think you deserve it. So once again, a big thanks and a big thanks to the participants. Like what we have promised, every day we're going to bring you some very interesting speakers. So tomorrow we're going to bring you the director of the very hit movie Sant Ki Aankh, Tushar Hiranandani. He's going to be talking about his inspirations, about how he built the music, how he thought about the movie and the future movies he's going to be making and how he moved from being a writer to a director. So please join us tomorrow, 11:30, same time on YouTube live, Shoolini University. Bobby's recording is also there. If you have any comments, do please pass those comments on our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and we'll definitely answer them. We'll have Bobby answer them. And do try to reach Bobby if you feel like. You can reach out to me or reach out to Bobby directly. Once again, a big thank you and see you all 11:30 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Thank you, Bobby, once again.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you for your time. See ya.